So One Moto is like on electric, and if you look at the logo, it's very much an obvious presentation of One using the power switch and so on. But where the actual idea came from was a business partner in the UK, and we were having a conversation, and I wanted to do something different. And you can, from a branding point of view, you can create beautiful brands that hopefully will have a bit of legacy, working with global brands, small brands, to build them and just give a little bit of individuality and evolution in design, which I love. It's what I get up for every day. Even when you're creating video content, you can be really creative, but there's a certain level of it doesn't matter. It's not changing the world. It's not contributing in a positive way, but it just makes it slightly prettier. And then we were talking, I wanted to do something different. And for about 7 years in Dubai, I was riding a Vespa. So the white Vespa that had all the lights and mirrors, that was me for a while. And then I had a larger bike, a Triumph, for a couple of years. So I've been riding for about 20 years. And I wanted to create something that had a sustainable legacy. And that's where the idea came about, from a conversation. So we started to draw out some ideas from a experienced rider's point of view. What do you need from a bike? And if it was to be electric, what would then you want to ride if you're a private commuter, if you like, but then also for the delivery market, because bikes create 16 times more hydrocarbons than SUVs. So below planes, per capita, motorcycles are the most harmful to the environment. And when you've got nearly 12,000, or reported 12,000 in the UAE or on the UAE roads, that's quite a staggering amount. And so we started to research and find out more and more and more about electric vehicles. And yes, I started following Elon Musk and what is he doing? Where's his mind?
But isn't it crazy that no one's actually thought about it? Or do you have similar players in other markets?
Yes, there are manufacturers. There's some incredibly beautifully designed, say, passenger motorcycles that are more on that superbike range. But when you start looking at the commuter, the everyday transport, there's no one that has produced a bike that has the power, the range, and just that focus, attention to the detail in the product is one thing. The affordability, we need to take the inconvenience away of owning an electric motorcycle, electric vehicle. Because if you look at cars, the investment's huge. A lot of that's down to the battery. But as the battery and the motor do reduce in price and the technology increases and making it more affordable, then yes, we are going to see that shift more so into electric vehicles.
Let's talk a little bit about your product. So it's essentially a typical motorbike with batteries in it, or is there anything more to it than that?
There's a little bit more to it than that, but in principle, it's the beautiful thing is with electric vehicles is there's not very many moving parts. So if there is ever an issue, things can be replaced quite easily. The most costly parts of the bike, other than the sort of the design, getting it through R&D approvals, testing, certification, there's that journey. But then once you've actually got the bike, it's the battery. And we make sure that from the delivery company or the fleet management company, the transportation logistics, so they're our primary clients, but what is it they want? So we worked very closely with a few of the larger companies. Just tell us, as we're in R&D, this is the perfect time. So tell us what it is you want. And we created the Biker, which is the delivery bike, which has an alarm system. Now, we don't really need alarm systems because of the beauty of safety that we have in the UAE, but in other parts of the world you do. There's a radio on board. There's a mobile app where you can choose the sound that you want your bike to make. So if you want a V8 engine, crack on, off you go. But then there's more of an intelligence behind it of what big data do you want. So working with telcos and the telematics companies, as well as us and the last mile logistics, we've just got the requirements of what information do you want. And we'll use this through our onboarding dashboard and so on to then collate and curate this content and the data to be able to give it back. But we're focused on really changing that last mile and food delivery industry
I mean,
here.
talking about fleets, and of course we've seen the rise of e-commerce and the food delivery apps. Sure, I understand the opportunity in terms of, having an electric bike do the job.
Any electric vehicle, there needs to be some incentive. I believe Norway offer the greatest incentive, and they have the highest uptake of electric vehicles globally. So the UAE is, as I believe, the most charging stations per capita, closely followed by Egypt, or Egypt has that in plan. So really, when you start looking at the evolution of electric vehicles and the implementation, integration into our society, the vision is there. We're offering a solution to help just in that delivery sector. Just for now, let's just focus on that. We've got other visions and other plans, not just here but overseas.
Roughly, what's the net savings that we can look at?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because we have studied this and we've asked maybe 50 to 100 between the team, 50 to maybe 80 different riders, of how many kilometers do you do a day? Because that's a starting point. So when we've been looking at the costs, we've calculated based on 100 kilometers a day. Now, we don't know whether some companies might say it's 160 kilometers we do, or 200 kilometers. We've calculated out the design of our bikes and the batteries and the motor and the performance and the range. But the financials, to give you the answer, is based on 100 kilometers a day. So if you're filling up the bike 3.5 times a week, then you times that by X amount of weeks. The bikes are on the road predominantly 7 days a week between different riders over different shifts. Then you start looking at the servicing, the oil changes, maintenance, SALIC, registration fees. All of that, you're looking at saving around 14,000 dirhams a year. We've calculated 14,700 dirhams a year just on 100 kilometers a day. So if it is fact and they're doing 160, then obviously that's saving a lot more than the 14,000. But when our bikes are only priced at 14,500.
So that's a net saving, yeah, after all.
Absolutely.
Like expenses.
So you've got the saving of 14,700, but then you've got the actual purchase price of the bike, which can range between 9,000 and 11,000 dirhams, plus then you've got the box and so on. With our bikes, you can brand them. With the traditional fuel or combustion engine bikes, you can't brand them because of the way they're designed. It looks like a bike with a box on the back. These are purpose-built bikes that can be branded and customized accordingly, and all the boxes are to meet RTO regulations. And so we can create this affordable, eco-friendly, sustainable form of transport by keeping our costs low and passing that back on. My focus is taking away the inconvenience completely, whether it's insurance. We'll get that covered for you. If it's apparel, don't worry, we've got that sorted. So
it's all a package deal.
It's a complete package, and every part of it has been considered to some extent. So where we are, I would like to say that come November, some decisions will be made with the big prospect clients that we've spoken to. I would love for the government to endorse it and to really make that announcement, and eventually over time, hopefully with a little bit of lobbying from myself and partners and then the community, to really get behind this and make that.
Really excited about ONE MOTO and seeing where you go, and I'm sure soon enough you'll be taking over the world. So all the best.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.